everyone to please settle down so that we can start the program. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to all our delegates, speakers, and guests. We are delighted to have you here today's conference hosted by Faculty of Nursing, Assam Downtown University. I believe that everyone enjoyed their breakfast and are ready for an exciting and insightful day with us. Before we begin with the session, we kindly request all the delegates to take a few moments to fill up the pre-test questionnaire provided in the kit, and please ensure you complete and submit it to the volunteers. Volunteers, kindly do the needful. In a world that never stops changing, building a resilient and inspired workforce isn't an option. It's a necessity. Namaskar and a very warm good morning to all the dignitaries, esteemed resource persons, special invitees, respected trustees, respected teachers, and everyone gathered here today. I, Ferika Siangshai,
and I, Puldalin Lindem, are absolutely delighted and honored to be the masters of ceremonies for today's conference.
Assam Downtown University Faculty of Nursing takes a profound sense of immense pride and honor in organizing its 5th National Conference 2025 on the theme Workforce Development, Building Resilience and Retaining Talent in Today's Healthcare. A conference provided an opportunity to connect with professionals, experts, peers in the field, gain insight from presentation, and explore job opportunities, enhance skills, and stay updated on nursing trends. It is a tremendous privilege and immense honor to be part of this esteemed gathering.
A gathering would not be officially started without welcoming our audience to this conference. So I request Ms. Kritika Turke to welcome the audience with warmth and gratitude.
Good morning and a warm welcome, distinguished guests, respected dignitaries, and dear participants. It is with great honor and immense pleasure that I, Ms. Kritika Angela Turki, second-year MSc Nursing student, extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you to the 5th National Conference on Workforce Development, Building Resilience and Retaining Talent in Today's Healthcare, being held here at Assam Downtown University. We do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. We have the power to imagine better. J.K. Rowling. We are truly privileged to host such a gathering to eminent minds, passionate professionals, and thoughtful leaders across the nation. Your presence today is not only a testament to your commitment to the cause that unites us, but also an inspiring reflection of our shared pursuit of excellence, innovation, and collaboration. We are deeply honored to have with us very distinguished personality, Professor Dr. N.C. Talukdar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Assam Downtown University, whose presence today elevates the importance of this gathering and inspire us all. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome and heartful welcome to you, sir. We are especially honored to welcome our resource persons, Ma'am Saibara Matadil, Nursing Director, Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Bernali Das, Senior Lecturer, Psychiatry Social Work, Department of Psychiatry, GMCH, Guwahati, and Dr. Aniruddha Banerjee, Associate Vice President, HR and IR, Peerless Hospital and BK Roy Research Center, Kolkata, who will be sharing their stories, wisdom, and vision firsthand on today's conference. We are incredibly lucky to have a group of accomplished resource persons leading our sessions today. Your insights will help elevate our conversations and challenge us to think more deeply. We welcome Dr. Vandana Devi, Principal of Arya Nursing College, Guwahati, Professor Mitali Burman, Principal of Health City Institute of Nursing, Guwahati, Professor Dipali Das, Principal of Hyde Institute of Nursing Education, Jurabat, and all the deans of various faculties of Assam Downtown University. We are truly grateful to have Professor M. Benita Devi, Principal of Raman Institute of Nursing and Paramedical Sciences, appointed observer for SNRC. We welcome you, ma'am. It is my absolute pleasure to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all our esteemed delegates. We welcome you all to this conference. Lastly, I would like to welcome all the faculty members and students of Assam Downtown University to the 5th National Conference on this wonderful day. Let us embrace this opportunity to learn, to question, and to contribute and to grow. May this conference be a meaningful and memorable experience for all of us present here. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kritika Turke, for welcoming our wonderful audience to this conference. I request all the delegates and everyone present here to once again welcome all the dignitaries and the delegates with a big round of applause. We are going to commence our today's program with the anthem song of our university. The term anthem means a song of celebration that enhances the sense of dedications and belongings. Our university anthem is celebration of diversity, uniqueness, unity, and sacred connotations of our emotions. So may I please welcome Ms. Suman and group to lead us with the university anthem, and I request the wonderful audience to please rise up for the anthem. Thank you, students, for that anthem.
Knowledge gives humility. From humility, one attains character. From character, one acquires wealth. From wealth, good deeds follow and then happiness. The commencement of our today's gathering is marked by a cherished tradition, the lighting of the lamp. This ritual, steeped in profound symbolism, represents the journey from ignorance to knowledge, from confusion to clarity, inviting, illuminating wisdom into our midst. I call upon Ms. Harshita Bora and group to present a melodious invocation song. We are absolutely honored to invite all the dignitaries to kindle the flame of enlightenment and symbolically inaugurate this program. I call upon Ms. Harshita Bora and group to present a melodious invocation song. I request the escort to please escort the dignitaries to the stage.
inviting our respected Professor Dr. Manushi Gupta, Dean Faculty of Nursing, Assam Downtown University, to address the gathering and open the theme of today's conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our respected Dean Ma'am with a round of applause.
Warm good morning to everyone present here. I, on behalf of entire Faculty of Nursing, Assam Downtown University, welcome you for our 5th National Nursing Conference. Honorable VC Sir, Professor Dr. N.C. Talukdar, esteemed resource persons from Pan-India, all the senior faculty, senior members of nursing fraternity across Guwahati, all my dearest delegates, and my beloved students. After so much of brainstorming, we have come across with this theme for this year conference is on workforce development, building resilience, and retaining talent in today's healthcare. We have also come across with some of the sub-themes based on the main theme of the conference. That is, we will look into the strategic workforce planning and skill development for nursing professionals, fostering their resilience, well-being among the healthcare professionals, not only nurses, even the entire healthcare team, talent retention through engagement, recognition, and career pathways. We have set some of the objectives for our national conference. After this conference, we are very optimistic that the participants will try to explore some of the effective workforce planning and skill development for their own fraternity personals working under various nursing colleges, nursing hospital, nursing care homes, as well as entire healthcare, system. They can promote resilience, well-being in their own specialized area of work. They can identify various methods, how they can retain the talents through engagement and motivation in their career ladder. And also, we can share globally adapted some of the best practices in the workforce development and sustainability. We have formulated some of the key strategies which include, yes, we have to invest in mental health and well-being of our healthcare professionals. We can offer them flexible work models and career growth opportunities. We can improve the leadership as well as communication skills amongst them. We also can foster some of the inclusive workforce best practices as well as workforce culture. We can utilize research findings to predict and prevent turnover. So with these strategies in mind, we have set down for today's national conference on the themes. We have the target delegates, we have nursing administrators, staff nurses, as well as nursing faculty. So we have delegates around 100 from various regions of Northeast India. Our speakers for today's conference, Madam Saibala from Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Cochin, Madam Barnali Das from Guwahati Medical College Hospital, and Mr. Aniruddha Banerjee from PLS Hospital, Kolkata. So I hope the sessions are going to be very, very fruitful for everybody, and have a great learning session and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful remarks and laying the foundation for the discussion that will follow. It is now my privilege to invite a visionary and esteemed leader of our university, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. N.C. Talukdar, to address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Honorable Sir with a big round of applause.
Namaskar and very good morning. It's so pleasing to see entire house full. Like lately, several meetings last few weeks, attendance was so poor. I feel so spirited and enthusiastic this morning because our exams are going on. All the students are busy in exams. So, being a university, all the time you have to have some kind of meeting. And there is almost every day there is a gathering. And today, for a long time, maybe last 2-3 weeks, entire hall is filled. I'm very glad to see, and maybe Mansi had taken quite a bit of pain to get so many people in one place. And let me extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished speaker, very respected personality in the field of nursing professions, and other delegates from different institutions. He said it's mostly from Northeast India. But we have neighboring state, Calcutta, Mr. Banerjee, and all the way down from Chennai, Miss Sai Bala Madatil. I think I have to give a special welcome to them because they are from very far off place and have taken a lot of trouble actually to benefit, I would say, the nursing professionals of Northeast India. You are going to deliberate on an extremely important topic, and like the nursing faculty of Assam Downtown University is organizing it. I'm very glad. This university on yearly basis, we have to renew our 50% of our nursing faculty every year. It's because I think nursing profession provide very lucrative jobs. So master degree holder, they come maybe 20, 30 in numbers every year, and at the end of the year they get very good jobs and they leave the place. And we are one university. The topic what you are saying, the workforce retention or workforce development, building resilience, we are the one experiencing on daily basis. See, these academics, to become a good teacher, to deal a particular course very well, to handle a program, you need experienced people to stay for quite some time. You gain experience through practice. So you just cannot involve in teaching for 1 year and then you move. It's maybe not the problem of our institution. It's a problem across all medical healthcare institutions. And what we are trying to now, you have to cope up with this situation. So you have to have a great resilience, right? Maybe we have two institutions. Just take an example. Assam Downtown University, maybe Royal Global University, they do have private university. So both these institutions, they every year 50% renewal of their faculty, but they have to keep their academic quality intact. So how these two institutions perform, it will depend on their resilience. Like this difficulty we are exposed to, how we cope up. So there's an inherent ability in each one of us to cope up with difficult situation. But in resilience, people say it's an inherent quality, but I believe like every quality can be developed. Even resilience can be developed. So I find it's an extremely important, appropriate subject for you to deliberate. How do you do it? Last year, we had visitors from the hospital sector people from Japan, Europe, and Singapore. Why they came here? They came because they're looking for nursing professionals they want to hire. You all know Europe or America, Japan, the aging population. Maybe 80% of their population above the age of 60, and we get sick when we are old, right? So, and they don't have enough manpower, so they are stretching their hand out of their country, and they are trying to take our nurses whom we train, spending a lot of money, right? And then you have to be resilient to cope up with this international competition now. In other sense, you are also lucky. Nursing professional people are very lucky that you have opportunity to go abroad. In fact, some of our students trained here have gone abroad. So overall, what I see that there is really this topic they have chosen is extremely timely and relevant. I hope you will all give your collectively you will take, you will deliberate and take decision recommendations so that we all people, including the administrators who are trying to build quality education. And we should also look at it like, I believe there are many hospital sector people here or other institutions. With this workforce development, you must also talk about workplace development. So if you have a beautiful workplace, a very congenial environment, friendly environment, then sometimes people don't feel like leaving that institution. I can give you one example. I do not want to take a lot of time, not for you, for myself, because a lot of people are waiting for a meeting. You know, our this Delhi Metro, who built this Sridhar, Dr. Sridhar, I think you all know, the famous engineer of this Konkan Railway, he designed, he looked after this metro, like your project of Delhi, finished before time. So IIT graduates joined him to work with him. I read an article in Reader Digest where these IIT graduates were interviewed that why you have stuck with this fellow. You are an IIT graduate, you can earn 5 lakh, 6 lakhs rupees per month, and you are getting only 70,000 or 80,000 rupees. Why have you stuck to him? The simple reply to them, to the reporter was, it was a beautiful article many years ago written in Reader Digest, I read it. So he said that the work environment he provide and dynamic leadership he provide, and in this project, we all feel like a family, right? So workplace environment and workplace development is also extremely important. It's not only the emotional aspect, but also physical aspect. You must have all the facilities. As far as Assam Downtown University is concerned, we last few years we have been working very, very hard, and last year we had, like by God's grace, we got A+ accreditation. So I believe that is it goes to workplace development. I hope that 50% renewal at least for nursing, if we can cut down to 30%. And this is also one effort, and that is our part, management, and my part, to develop the workplace. So workplace development and workforce development and building resilience in human beings so that you can bring quality to institution where this great the human activity and education happens. With these words, I wish all the best for the great success of this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts and insight with us in this special occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives us immense pleasure to announce the release of our magazine, Episteme, 5th edition, a publication that reflects the creativity, achievement, and academic spirit of our institution. This magazine is not just a compilation of articles and images, it's a testament to the hard work, vision, and voices of our teachers, contributors, and students. To formally release the magazine, I now invite our esteemed dignitaries to the stage to do the honors and unveil the magazine. I request Ms. Nikki and Pringaladas to escort the dignitaries to the stage, please. Thank you all dignitaries. We congratulate the whole team. We would like to congratulate the whole team for the outstanding effort in bringing this magazine, and we encourage everyone to take time to read and appreciate the thoughtful content inside.
We're going to start the first session of today's conference. But before that, I request all the volunteers to collect the pre-test form from the delegates. Before we commence our first session of today's conference, it is my honor to introduce our esteemed chairpersons for this session, Dr. Bandana Devi, Principal Arya Nursing College, Guwahati, and Professor Mitali Burman, Principal Health City Institute of Nursing, Guwahati. I request Ms. Prinkala Das to escort Dr. Bandana Devi ma'am to the stage. Yeah, that one. Dr. Bandana Devi, a highly accomplished professional in the field of nursing education and healthcare. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, a Master of Science in Nursing, and has further earned a doctorate PhD in nursing. Ma'am began her nursing career as a ward in charge cum nursing tutor at Setterbury Christian Hospital, Guwahati 8 from February 2001 to March 2008. She worked as a clinical instructor, then vice principal, and is now serving as the principal of Arya Nursing College, Guwahati. Dr. Bandana Devi has participated as resource person, chairperson, and moderator in many workshop seminars and conferences. Ma'am had published research papers in international forums and presented scientific paper in nursing conferences and workshops. We are truly privileged to have you, ma'am, chairing this session today. Please join me once again in welcoming ma'am. The second chairperson for this conference, for this session, is Professor Mitali Burman, Principal Health City Institute of Nursing, Guwahati. I request Ms. Nikki to escort ma'am to the stage. Professor Mitali Burman has dedicated over 25 years to nursing education and practice, research and administration. Ma'am has attended many seminars, workshop conferences at national and international level. Attended Temasek Foundation International 10th Asia Nurse Leaders Forum 2017 at Singapore. Throughout her career, Professor Mitali Burman has served as a resource person at various state level conferences, seminars and workshops, has been a resource person for training or trainees program at IIE Guwahati. In addition, she has published research papers at national and international index journals. Ma'am has organized G20 W20 regional workshop on women power, women-led development. She has been thesis evaluator for PG students. Ma'am is the advisory board member for GP publication for adult health nursing book. We are thrilled to have her as the chairperson for this session. Please join me in welcoming ma'am with a round of applause. Today, we have the privilege of learning from Ms. Saibala Matadil regarding strategic workforce planning and skill development. We are truly grateful for your presence here today. I now hand over the mic to the chairperson.
A warm good morning to all and all present here. I'm really happy being here today among the beautiful audience in the beautiful morning. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Manasi Sengupta, chairperson of this conference, for giving me this opportunity to share the sessions on the topic strategic workforce planning and skill development, which will be delivered by an eminent speaker who is from the nursing profession itself. So I am privileged to introduce our speaker, Madam Ms. Saibala Madatil. Madam is currently working as the nursing director at Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Kochi since 2012. Madam is MSc in Psychiatric Nursing from Amrita College of Nursing. She also worked as a Chief Nursing Officer at Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Kochi. She has held key management positions and has been instrumental in setting up best practices, including GI endoscopy unit in Kerala. I'll ask the organizer to please display the biodata of ma'am. Yeah, thank you. And developing guidelines in conformance with international norms. Madam has many more achievements in her credit. She was the first in the country to receive a scholarship at 38th Annual Convention of the INS in Louisville, Kentucky in 2011. She also represented India at various international summits and was the only Indian representative at the second annual Ivy Global Summit on perioperative nursing in Dublin in 2011. Her contributions are widely recognized in areas of nursing education, teaching and mentoring, while upholding high standard of nursing practice as a guide, as a mentor, and keynote speaker through active participation in collaboration and continuing nurse educations in regional, national, and international events. She is also an active member of the Ethical Committee of KUHS since 2014 and is associated with various national and international professional bodies like INS, AME, PCSI, AVA, and ISPN. She authored and co-authored various research papers and also involved in developing of curriculum and led numerous projects with exceptional quality improvement. Madam is a national and international representative for developing best practices and newer guidelines as expert quality personnel. So we are eagerly waiting to hear from Madam on the topic, as I said, mentioned before, strategic workforce planning and skill development. So I would like to say a few things about that. So workforce planning is very important for an organization because the organizational goal or the target is mainly depends on the competent workforce. So it is very important we properly plan the workforce so that it will give a good results and it will help to achieve the goal of an organization. So let us hear from ma'am about this in details. So welcome you ma'am, and stage is all yours now. Thank you.
A very good morning to all of you. How many people are there in the audience? I would really like to hear a better response. Good morning? Good morning. That's nice. Actually, you will be looking at strategic workflows planning and skill development. It's a managerial topic and looks a little bit of a heavy weight on anybody who's sitting here, but this is simple common sense, okay? There's nothing big in it, except the terms that we use are little, so it just feels that it's something big, but basically planning is common sense and that we do every day. I'm sure all of you would have planned to make this day at 9 o'clock to come here. You would have planned a few days ago. How many of you are faculty? Can you please raise your hands because I would like to know. Okay, all are from teaching, okay. How many students? Very good. Any nurses or nursing administrators? Thank you. So we have a mix of crowd, so it will be a little difficult, I think, for me to kind of bridge everybody here. But I would rather, use examples from my life and not go too much on the theoretical aspect. When somebody calls you to talk, people expect you to bring a heavyweight presentation with some evidence base from the Western countries because that is what we feel is the best. But the truth is not that. The truth is you have to have your own strategies for your own place. But we can learn systems from the West because they have a very good methodology. But I would definitely say India has a different strength. We have greater conceptual understanding. So the strategy and methodology, we may not be very good at listing them because we think we are flexible enough to adapt. Actually, we are a very resilient force that way. But if you look at the West and in the India, there's a little difference in how they approach certain aspects. So the methodology of the West and the conceptual understanding of ours need to be combined today, because right now we don't have concept, neither methodology. So now we have to bring back the conceptual understanding and use the methodological aspects that the West use. Name them, organize in such a manner so that it's easier for anybody who doesn't know to work with. So that's the relevance of having the mix of the East and the West. So we'll look at some of the aspects. I won't be doing a lot of theoretical work. Whatever is in the slide is actually meant for you to read later. I would rather talk out of my experience and try to make you understand the relevance of why we are discussing this. And for all the students who are there, you might be thinking this years ahead for us to go to workforce planning. Don't underestimate it, because for all of you to choose what workforce you want to join in, you might have to understand some of these things. Now, if you look at how the state government is investing, how the national level is investing on nursing, which part of nursing, you can understand what is going to be the future. So you can choose your path now if you really understand this, the concepts that we are going to discuss today. I see a very silent, still group of people, but I like a little bit of noise. When everybody is very silent, you don't feel like talking. You just feel like sitting and having a nice meditation. So I would want you to be active. Okay, we'll do meditation later at the end of the session. Agree with me? Are you all with me? Okay, go ahead. Let's just brush through some of these most important topics that we're going to discuss today. So why do we have to do planning? Planning is a part of our life. So when I had to come from Kerala to Guwahati, this is my first time in the eastern region, I was thinking about how should I dress, what will I eat, how much time it will take for the flight, what kind of people would be there, because this is completely new to me. I would have to have a little bit more of planning, so I understood maybe this is a universe. So I went and searched Google, find out downtown. I know her, Mansi, but we just met for a brief time. So we didn't have much time to interact because I was organizing the conference and she was there as a guest, so I didn't have much time to interact with her. So I looked at the downtown university, looked a very beautiful place. So I thought I'll get some time to watch and sit in peace. And then I guessed that maybe it's a university, so there's a guest house, so I'll be staying in the guest house, so I prepare accordingly. Okay, I looked at what usually people wear so that I can choose my dress. These things matters. How do you present yourself? So these are smaller things in planning, and there are many, many things. Food. I wasn't really worried about food. I didn't carry much food with me. Otherwise, if I'm going to some other country, I would definitely carry some food with me, because I'll be very sure that maybe my taste wouldn't match the taste of the local food. So these are planning. This is planning. You see the future today, and then you try to set things right so that you don't have to panic when it comes to the real life situation. All of you would have planned to come at 9 o'clock here. You know the traffic in Assam that I experienced yesterday. So if you have to come all the way from and I had somebody escorting me from Meghalaya telling that they wouldn't have transport systems so effective. So if you're coming from a different state, a different part of it, you would have really taken time to understand so that you start earlier enough to reach here so that you don't panic. At every time you're looking at the watch, it's 9 o'clock, we have to reach there. And I didn't see the rush here. So that means you're all very good planners. And I see a lot of women, very grounded women, I should say. That means you're good planners. If you're good planners, what will happen? Then you don't see this. Everyone is so shaky. No, you're not shaky. You're all have been there 25 years, have been studying mental health, so you can kind of get an idea. So I don't think I would have to talk too much on planning, because I see the event, the way the event is organized, the way everyone is coming in, you already have some idea. So with that note, we'll begin. So when you're talking about strategic workforce planning, there are three words. Strategic planning. The strategic planning is more or less, it's a long-term planning. You think about 5 years down the line. What's going to happen? How do you prepare yourself for the future? Not immediate future, for a further time. Workforce. There's another term, that's your manpower. Manpower for healthcare. That's a big planning. So you could be an organization, it could be the state, it could be a country, it could be a small little school or college. So it could be at any level, the principles all the same. And the basic thing is about the right person at the right job, at the right place, at the right time, at the right cost. So 5. You have 7 more. I think some people talk about 7 hours, but I would say reasonably the right people at the right place, at the right job, whenever they are needed. And that you are not actually exceeding too much of cost so that you not able to afford the quality that you perceive. So that is the major, the goal of strategic workforce planning. And in healthcare, it helps to get you need to have a lot of vision. You need to have an understanding of what is present, what is going to come. From the research, from your experience, from experts, to understand where do you have to invest, what do you have to invest on, what are the gaps, and then how do you work forward. So it helps us in improving our outcomes in terms of patient care in hospitals. It helps in good academic practice. Now we are all talking about lack of employability skills in nursing students. Where the hospitals are finding it difficult, the people who are graduating, the same old BSc nursing, maybe a better curriculum is coming, but still we find the students are not skilled enough. So what is there? We are learning all the skills. The only difference I feel is that the skills are learned for the learning, for finishing the exam. The skills are not learned with the mindset that I would need it for tomorrow. You read and write English, you learn in English from the day one, you go through school, you go through nursing curriculum in English, and then you go to IELTS and OET, write it 100 times, but still it's why it's difficult for you to pass it, because in the whole of your lifetime, if you have ever learned English for learning English, everything else would have been easier. But we learn English to pass the first standard, pass the second standard, pass the 10th standard, and then you learn English to pass the OET, not to live in England. So when you have to go to England or UK or any other country, what will happen is you will have to learn English again, because you don't know how to live there. You only learned to write the answers. So learning the language is not only language, it's also about the culture, about the thinking. So that you have to develop from the day one. And what was very beautiful about India is that if you look at the ancient Indian culture, it taught us how to live rather than getting education and getting graduation certificates. We now forget, we don't have the education to live, we have the education for making a living. There's a small difference. And I see the values and the written what is the mission and vision of this organization. It very well resonates with the organization I come from. My hospital is 1,200 bed. It has 59 specialties. I have 1,300 nurses working under me. A total of 2,000 people working under me alone with different skill sets. And with a turnover about 600 people every year. That's what I handle. Okay. So, you can handle it with a lot of frustration. You can handle it with a very calm mind. The more calmer I am, the more better strategies I can develop. That's the learning of my life. The more tensed I become, the more difficult it is. 59 specialties. Think about it. How much can you learn in one lifetime? Every specialty has a different mindset. They have a different work culture. We have to bring, and all the nurses have to be tuned according to each specialty. At the same time, you have to make the ground similar so that any nurse who come in can navigate the system. So there's a lot of challenge in doing that. But it's not difficult, because life has taught me that if you really learn the basic concepts of life, things are very easy, not so hard. And it's how you perceive and how you react to situations. So when you have a reasonable amount of vision of what's going to happen, but even then, you think about COVID. Did any one of us anticipate what happened in the last 4 years? See, sleeping? Do I sound like music? Did you anticipate what happened in the last 4 years? My God. I wouldn't finish in 45 minutes. I'm going to, whatever I can do in 45 minutes, I'll stop with that because I want you to get engaged in the conversation. Without that, there's no point in me coming 12 hours I've spent to come here. Okay. And another 12 hours I have to take to go back home. So if I'm using my 24 hours and today, that's 72 hours of my time, at least 2 minutes of engagement I would anticipate, right? Yes? So learn something when you go. You don't have to learn everything, all that we are talking in the PowerPoint. Not necessary. But at least to understand that this is important and there is something to learn from this subject. That's all I intend in the next 45 minutes. But I want you to engage with me in this conversation because the moment you stop thinking, the moment you stop shutting down your mental faculty to things around you, there's no development. You will be very peacefully sitting in this place like a teaspoon in a bottle of sugar. 25 years you put it, it'll still be the same. No change. There's no point in being like that. So what we're finding as teachers, as administrators, is that the spirit, that energy that people had to change, to make a difference around us is kind of slowly diminishing. Everyone is happy. Status quo. Is that so? Is that so? Yes or no? No. For 100 people, this is very less sound. Very nice weather, little bit of rain, a nice AC current, a very beautiful voice. At least to that you're smiling. I really like people when they engaged with me. Otherwise, there's no point in talking about all these things. You will sit and listen to me. Your mind will wander everywhere else other than this topic. So I want you to engage. And if you don't talk to me, what will happen is I'll stop the session. I'll talk to you. I came all the way to talk to you, not to teach. I came all the way to understand you and maybe share some stories from my lifetime which would help you in looking at things from a different perspective. Okay. I can still feel that immense silence. Maybe another 30 more minutes I will take time to bring you to some kind of a conversation, and then the whole day probably I'll have to work with you to get you engaged with me. So we already discussed. It's all about right size, right shape, right cost, and right agility. Right shape and right agility is something that we didn't discuss. Right shape is when you have, the organizational structure in place. How many managers? How many, what level professionals would you require? You have too many supervisors, there's a problem. So how many workers are required? And that it implies a lot in the, it is not very fragmented. If you look at an organization, when you plan a hospital, you have 10 different ICUs and 10 different blocks with 10 beds, 5 beds, 6 beds. How many in charges would you require? That's that much amount of money. So if you have a good strategic workforce planning, the HR would be able to tell that this is the number of top professional levels you would require. So you plan your building accordingly so that you can utilize the manpower in such a way that it affects well in terms of cost, in terms of managing the place. If you have a huge ICU with 75 beds or 40 beds, do you think it's easy to manage? Yes, thank you. So it's not easy to manage. For a manager, you cannot have one manager. And you said, okay, now we have only 10 managerial positions, so I'm going to put one nurse manager there, 45 ICU beds, all critically ill ventilated. You'll go crazy, right? So you need to think about how many people you're managing. How many, it's like in our setting, we have 1:50 ratio. Either 50 patients or 50 staff. So if the 50 patients, then in a ward, the ratio is different, so you have one in charge. But if there is more than 50, in a 25-bedded ICU with 1:1, you will have 25 bed is okay, up to when it comes to 30 beds, you'll have minimum two in charges because you are around 100 people to turn around. So this is how you think. Okay, place, the size and shape. This is what the shape indicates. Agility is like, suddenly, what happened in 2018, we had a flood in our state. Everywhere else was surrounded with water. It was difficult to come into the hospital, difficult to go out. We didn't have water in the hospital, but we were in a threat. Any time water could seep in. We had about 7,000 people in the campus. It was hard to commute. And around the places, many places were underwater. There was no electricity. Some people were dependent on oxygen at home. They didn't have the current. They wanted to come and stay with us. So we had a big problem in managing water, food, disposal of waste. Because if that many people stay there, you have to supply them with fresh water. No? Though it's full of water, you don't have clean water around. So for 5-6 days, it was so difficult for us to manage. And then we had about 800 plus patients in the hospital. So literally we had to have a center. We changed our plans every day. Every morning, every 8 hours, we looked at what we were handling. How many people more could we accommodate? How many we could send home? What is the status of the water? How much of preparations would we require? We had to shift generators. We had to change ICUs depending on we have to really control our resources so well that the outcomes won't get affected. And we survived. And what is the greatest learning in this whole thing is how much ever you plan, there is something beyond it. And when your intention is right, the force that is beyond will also support you. So every shift we used to sit and then look at how many nurses would walk in because we were not sure. Our hostels had some people, but people were coming from outside also. We were looking at, because people were afraid, they wanted to go away because Kochi was literally in floods. And a lot of our nurses lost their homes. So people were calling us from different places. We were trying to help them to get from their homes to the hospital so that they get a reasonably good place. Overnight, nothing, no food, no clothes, nothing. They had just had to come. So I have seen that. I have seen the tsunami. Even worse, like where I stay, the headquarters of our organization is near the sea. So when the tsunami hit, we were all displaced from the island. The entire island was in water. We helped a lot of localites to come, and we had a massive rehabilitation drive that was taken. So these experiences teaches you that life is very fragile, and you need to be very fast to adjust to the circumstances. And if you are agile enough, if you have the mindset to kind of adapt to situations, what happens is you will survive through. And not just survive through, you will survive through effectively, and you will set an example for the others. So today I can stand and talk about it because we learned when we were handling the flood, that was in 2004, in the tsunami at the ashram where I live. And then after 10 years when the flood came, it was small compared to what we had to handle in the bigger sphere when the whole community got totally displaced and lost lives and so many things. So our buildings were given for the local people to come and stay. So this agility is that where the task force within an organization, within a country, within a state is able to adapt to the changes. And what do you think makes them do that? The instinct to live. All of us have an instinct to live, right? So what happens is when their instinct to live is there, we naturally get adapted to situations. The difference is that when you have a planned way of working, we know what to do. The steps are all written down, practiced in our mind. Though it might not really be in consensus with what's happening around, but it will definitely help you adapt to situations faster. So the agility is important. Now, I'm not going to talk about all this. This is available. Everything is available. Whatever I'm having here is available in the Google. You can go back and look at it. I'm just giving you a glance so that when you want to read about it, go and search these things. So I won't go like a normal lecture, steps of planning, not that I'm not going to talk about all that. I'll only share my experience and how this concept relate to your life. So any planning for that matter, you need to have a vision. You need to understand, like simple thing that now I had to come to Guwahati. I have to take 3 days off from my work, so I had to make sure that all the pending work is over in my place. Okay, I have a vision that I have to have a presentation. I have to talk to you in 45 minutes. I have to finish this topic. What would I talk? So this is a vision and this is a plan. Okay, now after this, I'll have to look at who is coming. Teacher, student, faculty, principal. So each are different levels. So I have to predict the needs, look at based on my experience. Right now, I have little conversation, but if I had a good team meeting, I would have called up and say, who is coming? How much would you want me to talk? If I don't have that, I just only have to depend on my instinct on talking to several people, have an idea of what is going to be the group of people, and I prepare accordingly. So that's, you see the requirements or the needs for the tomorrow. And then you look at the gaps. So in this case, I didn't have much, but usually when you look at forecasting, you also look at what do I have in my hand right now, and what is that is required. How much is where is the discrepancy? So that will tell you where do you have to work. So workforce planning is all about identifying needs and then trying to understand the needs in terms of what is there and what will be needed. Understand the gaps, develop your plans, and for any plans to be effective, once you implement it, you will have to have an evaluation. So like any process, there is a vision, there is an objective, there is an action plan, there is an implementation phase and an evaluation. As simple as that. So we'll discuss a little bit on some key aspects, that is workforce analysis and forecasting, talent management and development, recruitment retention strategies, diversity, equity and inclusion considerations, technology integration and digital literacy, and collaboration with it. So these are some of the things that any organization can do to if make an effective workforce planning. So workforce analysis. There are different ways of analyzing your workforce. Analysis actually, what is the current workforce? What is the workforce which is needed in the near future? So because it's a strategic planning, it will be a long term. So you look at, collect the data, current data. Then you also look at trend analysis. See, current data is nurse to patient ratios. What is the ratio currently? Are you going to have some more intensive care units in the future? See, if you are going to open 5 operation theaters, you would need at least 30 beds in the ICU. That's kind of conversion. So what is the ratio required for the theater, for the ICU, for the ward? Then you plan accordingly. Okay. And then trend analysis is like, there are seasons. Do you have season for delivery here? We have seasons for NICU. In certain season, our NICU will be very full. Certain season, it's not. It depends on other factors in the society. Okay, there are certain seasons when people don't get married. Do you have that here? If you look at the pattern, there are certain seasons when you have vacations where elective surgeries will be more. In our hospital, because we are a tertiary center, when there are festivals, our medical ICU is full. Because every small hospital will shut down and all the patients would come to our center. So for us, we need to be making sure that when there are festivals, we have to have a plan for managing them. And then we have multiple religions. Religious festivals also makes a difference. So we have to, task force have to be mixed so that you have people at 24/7, right? So these are the trends. And gap analysis, like you are going to build a new block where right now we are planning for a pediatric hospital. So we have a lot of adult nurses. So The pediatric hospital means we need to start now to think about how many pediatric beds would come, how many pediatric nurses. There's no pediatric nursing MSc only alone in this country, but others all basic. So we have to train, but just BScs out of college are not good pediatric nurses. They really need more training. So now from 6 to 1 year onwards, we have started to think how we build up this place. So this is also like your gaps. So there is a gap on what is required and what is actually is at hand and what is being prepared in the country now. Determine shortage or surplus and root cause analysis. In the sense that there are challenges in recruiting. Like now we say that there is no pediatric nursing available. So what do? We need to build. Our own strategies have to be developed to recruit, and we also should have some strategies to retain our good people or to attract new people from other places who are really good in pediatrics. So these are retention, recruitment, retention, and some more development plans within the organization. Then predictive modeling. Predictive modeling is talking about we have about 200 surgeries this year during the vacation. So next 5 years, what are we anticipating? Are the beds enough? Is the manpower enough? Or we have to say now the season for surgical specialty is going to be that. So you need to make sure that your task force is ready to manage the tech surge. The beds are there enough. Because when you have an exigency, or like, say, when we started oncology, very small specialty, few people. Now, oncology is occupying all the other floors because it's coming like fever. And because we are a tertiary center, we have all the specialties, our oncology population is getting more. So unless we have a understanding of the hemato-oncology, was very, very small unit. 5 patients, now we have 50 patients. Hemato-oncology alone. So the skill sets required are very different, and then you need to have a dedicated space. How do you plan for this if you don't have a kind of prediction? So we have to sit and say, okay, in the last 1 or 2 years, this is what this specialty has grown into. Now we would require another 5 years, what it is going to grow into, and what kind of manpower would you require for that. So that is what predictive modeling would help us do. These are statistical methods. There are methods to do, they're experts, but you need to understand that in a hospital, these are things which are required for you if you have to manage it effectively. Sir was talking about workplace development. If you need to have your workplace developed well with good resources within the cost, you need to do all this in a very meticulous way. I don't think I have to talk about this. You have to, by this you would have understand, if you don't do workforce analysis, you will not be able to understand what is the kind of staff would you require, how it will actually, if you have a good planning, you have good kind of outcomes, patient outcome, because if you don't have people with this kind of skills that they require to manage advanced specialties. In our hospital, we have 59 specialties, and each day specialty is growing, newer things. So if you don't have the right kind of people, maybe you have the best doctors, but if you don't have a good nursing force, the outcomes are not going to be good. So this is something, and it will also help us to understand, like by understanding their gap analysis, we will be able to understand how we want to recruit. Do we have a different plan? So last, post-COVID, what has happened in my state, I don't know what is happening here in Assam, but in our state, because we are the primary exporters of nurses in the country. Okay. In the small state of Kerala, we have 183 colleges of nursing, 200 schools of nursing, BSc and GNM, and 182 colleges. With all that, what happened post-COVID is that no colleges could finish the graduation on time. So there was a time when we didn't have the supply, like enough nurses were not coming out. And post-COVID, every country had a shortage, and nurses were being picked up to every other country possible. Suddenly the rules and regulation lifted off from Ireland and England. People were just taken away without even experience. They were all taken away. So you imagine the hospital, 900 patients, the number of staff just dropped into 60%. Total number. No supply from outside. because there's no one coming out and no new people will join you because everyone wants to go. And this is a time when the age limit is lifted off. Because otherwise in many countries, they won't allow people beyond a certain age. So that time, the age limit was lifted off. Every husband lost the job, did not have the job. EMIs were pending to be put in. So there was a lot of problems. Suddenly this demand goes down. Supplies goes down. Demand is also high because you know what happens. In COVID, we were only dealing with one disease. Post-COVID, every other specialist who was sitting at home because of the work, and they had problems of their own. They want to come back. The hospital wants to come back, earn revenue. Every doctor wants to work. And now you are stuck with a whole diverse force that is required, but you have an average working class because the bright ones are already migrated. So that was a big challenge. Now managing that, when you were managing it, suddenly the colleges started, the newcomers started coming. So the first thing that institutions would do is open, hire. Don't look at whoever, hire because numbers needed to be filled up. Numbers filled up, absolutely low social skills because they were all sitting in front of the computers. For them to think and respond to patient was very difficult. The middle level, which had somehow stayed with the 60% fast, that also left because they couldn't just manage the workload and the juniors together. So we were stuck with a totally raw group of nurses. Absolutely, nursing, if they don't know, we can teach. Social skills, how are going to teach unless they are exposed? So there was a very difficult time for the nursing leaders because all of us were called, people were shouting, yelling, because they were all tensed. And we were only the takers from every side. So till then, we were the most, listening people. Then we started making noise. He said, now stop. Don't shout at us. If you shout, we'll have to leave. So this is what happens when situations change. So unless we have an idea of what is happening, so this planning, whatever we had, whatever systems we developed, when the new group of people came, the systems we had earlier of recruiting, of onboarding, of keeping people, resilient, helped us in stabilizing our system. So it doesn't, sometimes you might think that, everything is normal. Why do you have to do that? But when you have a plan in place, but we did some good work in certain areas, it didn't seem to be having some relevance at that time. But when these things came, the stress management programs that we had, the work-life balance that we maintained helped us to stabilize our system. So that's why you also, it helps to do optimize staff deployment. Look at where is necessity, what kind of skill is necessity in your workforce, and so that people stay. And ultimately, you build a good workplace. That's what it is. So there are some forecasting methods I'm not going to discuss. You can go read about it. There are qualitative methods, quantitative methods. There are surveys that you can do. There are Delphi methods. There is like scenario mapping. Like I said, we had the flood. So now if something like that happens, how do you do? What kind of task force would you require? How would you use the resources within? Do we need anything more? Is there anything extra that you require as an organization? So that is a scenario planning. Oh, sorry, I think I did something. So we were looking at workforce analysis and workforce forecasting. So this, what we discussed again, some methods, ratio analysis. I talked to you about nurse to patient ratio, doctor to population ratio. Then trend analysis is trying to understand what happened last 3 years and what will happen the next 5 years so that you can plan to develop your skill sets or the skill set of your task force. Or also the infrastructure of the institution will depend on these are interrelated. So you can use the trend extrapolation method. Regression analysis is like, you look at the pediatric volume, the geriatric volume, the association between different factors, and to say that how does it influence your workforce planning. Scenario planning we already discussed. This is, you can go read it. Basically, what you do in forecasting is you look at the current force, You look at the demand, what would be required. You look at what you want to develop, and as an organization, which is the business that you're looking for? Are you looking for preventive promotive health? Are you looking for advanced cancer care? Are you looking for a pediatric specialty development? Based on that, your other things, your business goal and your planning have to align together. And then you look at the supply. Now, are there enough people coming out? Are there enough people with us? Where do you get the people that you require? And if you don't have enough supply, you look for alternative plans to develop your own pipeline. And then you have to have a plan and implement it. So when you're implementing a workforce analysis and forecasting, there are certain things. You need to have a good data collection mechanism. You have to have a big, now it is easy because data analysis by itself is a big specialty in computer science. You have a lot of applications. It is very easy to do analysis than before. You can do big data, like, huge amount of data you can do in 2 minutes. So these are the technologies which is available. So it's easier for us to do such kind of planning. And you have to have a model in place. And then you validate it using experts. You validate using the statistical methods. And then you make sure that your stakeholders are engaged. Already sleeping? Sleeping? Good. When the subject gets more and more serious, everybody just goes like that. What to do? I have no option but to talk to you on what has been asked of me. So next is workforce analysis and workforce forecasting is two different things. Now the third element is talent management. Talent management, the benefit of talent management is, talent management means to attract good people, develop them, maintain them in the institution, and make sure that you have a good workforce. And to have the high performing employees. So the benefits are, you can understand, if you have good talent in an organization, the organization will work well. There will be cost effective, better patient outcomes, employee satisfaction and engagement, which will lead to innovation and best practices. Common sense, right? Common sense, right? Yes. You have to respond to me. There's no way I'm going to understand from your face anything that I say, whether you are understood or not. Okay, so these are some of the key components. One is you have to identify and attract, bring people to the organization. How do you attract? You do branding. You have an anthem here of Downtown University. Downtown University has a very good plan. Listening to the anthem, I also feel like I should come and join. This is branding. This is the branding for the organization. That's one way. Second is social media. You use the social media you do defaming through social media, you faming through also social media. If you look at our government of India today, how much of social media they are using for constructive things. Every one of us are sure about how much money is spent on what, right? We will start looking at it. They are putting it very beautifully in small snapshots that you will understand, it will remain. So use these for recruitment. You attract the talent to your organization. Employee referrals. Employee referrals means, I am an employee in this organization, I bring 10 people. I get some bonus to bring in. This is something. Then competitive compensation and benefits. So 5 hospitals are there, I give you better pay. Or I give you flexible schedule. Everyone else is not doing, so I look at what everybody else is doing. Whatever the gap is, what they are having, I am offering you so that I can bring in good people into my organization. Developing and retaining skilled professionals. So like I told you, we have umpteen number of specialties which are not existing. There's no education available. What we do is we develop our own programs. So we have a residency program on pediatric cardiology because pediatric cardiac nurses are not available in the country. So with 11 batch I'm running, 3 months program. So I make sure that whoever comes in is developed enough to handle the patients so that they also feel comfortable and less stressed because they are already, some kind of education goes in before they start in the work. Mentorship programs, personalized development plans. Like you have a evaluation system where the in charge and the staff or the supervisor and the in charges or the senior teacher and the junior teacher will sit together and say, okay, these are the areas that I feel I'm not good at. You do an evaluation, the senior does an evaluation, a peer does this, a 360-degree evaluation you say, even if you don't do 360, at least few, so that you have an understanding of yourself and what other people think about you, and then have personal development plans for each of one of them. Maybe you think it's difficult, it's not difficult, because in a crowd of 2,000 people I do that. I personally don't do everything. Each level does for their own people. So we put up what is the next 1 year, what do you want to grow into? So that everyone has an understanding how they want to develop. So it helps in people to understand their gaps and to develop themselves. And mentorship is like, you put in your organization, you pair up with somebody senior so that, the hand-holding happens and people feel supported. Leadership development, I don't think we need to discuss about the recognition rewards today. It's very, very important that people feel that they are not acknowledged for the work. I don't know if it's the same here. Is the same here? Is it same here? Sometimes. Yeah, because in our hospital, the biggest problem that everyone was talking about is that, ma'am, whenever there is a complaint, whenever there is a problem, people will be called to office. When somebody does something, nobody tells us anything. So we said, though we were talking good things, but we did not have the habit of, okay, sabash beta, theek hai, acha hai. No, it will not be done. It's like understood, you have to be good. So we made a system where, that happened many, many years ago. We had a big major, union problem in the state. And the patients lost trust in the nurses lost trust in the patients. And we had a lot of behavioral issues. Because nurses would say, we have too many patients to look after, this is all what we have to do, we can do. The patients would say, you have time to go for strike, but you don't have time to look after me. Just like that, random. So what did we do? We said, now let us stop looking at complaints. Let's focus on anybody who does good work. So we put up an appreciation system. We said, patients who are very happy about nurses, please write to us. First year, 4 letters. Because everybody is so hard to say good, thank you, no. Now, every month, 150 letters. So when we had these many letters, we didn't have time to give out to people. What did we do? We send it to the in-charges, we then to the floor. Even with all this, nurses felt they were not acknowledged. I said, let's stop this. We'll call for a meeting. So now every 2 months, there is an appreciation program. Earlier, we had only Nurses Day, Nurses Month. It turned out to be Nurses Month. It turned out to be a month-old celebration. Now we changed everything. Now every month, there is a cultural competition. Because there is some festival, so there is a small, around this festival, 1 or 2 cultural events we'll have so that people can come and participate, develop their hobbies. Then there is also once in 2 months this appreciation ceremony and award ceremony. So award doesn't go for best nurses, it goes for best traits. Something that you're good at. Somebody, nurses are not observing, somebody observed, somebody found out something very good, we give them an award. Put some fancy names, and then give them a prize, call them to a hall, give in front of 10 people, that works. That makes people this is the same thing, but only the methodology is changed, but with that, you get more engagement. Creating career development pathways, there are many, many programs. You can develop, you can tell me if it's time? Yeah. So clinical ladder program is when you graduate from level 1, 2, 3, 4 from an absolutely new person to an expert, and you grade in such a way that people feel that they are growing. So that's called a clinical ladder program. Leadership development track is like you from staff nurse you go to in charge to supervisor, or you have some other positions. Specialized role development is infection control nurse, wound nurse. So these are specialized roles. And advanced practice roles is you have nurse practitioner, you have clinical nurse specialist. See that these are methodologies. Succession planning. It's very important that, we are talking about people leaving. People have to leave. Everybody cannot stay in one place forever. But the organization should have a plan. When I am leaving somebody behind. Or I am hand-holding someone, and whenever in my organization I always say that you can stay for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever time you want, but as long as you stay here, you put your best efforts and you train somebody. When you leave, you should come back and tell me, ma'am, there's another person who will take care in my absence. So when I am not there, my juniors will take care of the hospital. 3 days out of my work, it will not affect the hospital running. So that's how you have to do about your thinking. Let it be staff nurses, it be in charges and supervisor, anybody. You make sure that you train whatever you have learned so that whenever you go, the organization definitely should miss you. But doesn't mean that organization work should stop. They should miss you because you are too good. And you are too good because you have trained 10 more people. They would want somebody like that. Right? That's it. So talent pipeline development, leadership development program, and regular review and update. Because very importantly, you need to look at in which area do we have to plan this, having the successions. Like you have a specialist group of nurses, like we have the PICC line nurses, which are the entire vascular, PICC vascular access run by nursing alone. So there, if somebody leaves, it's a problem because your work will not develop. So before somebody leaves, when somebody is thinking of leaving, we already have another person in place. Or start looking at who else will come. Who are the potential people? Start training a few of them and you can say pick up this much they already know, come. Jump into this and start working. So that is how regular review and updates will help you. Providing ongoing training and education, I don't think we have to talk about it. You all are familiar with continuing education program, these kind of workshops, so that people will remain, on kind of, you are very, very good at, we have a plan. We have all these ongoing education plans so that you can actually look at the demand and supply gap can be reduced. And you can also develop your own programs based on that. So some talent management strategies, competency-based development. Competency-based means, competency basically means ability to do something. So whenever you need a specific task force, you make sure this is what you need and you base your train programs based on that particular competency. Mentorship and coaching, leadership development, diversity, equity and inclusion initiatives, we'll talk about it later. Performance management and feedback. This is very, very important. I told you, like all of us. So every time when I'm looking at your face and I'm feeling that you are not really listening to me, I would feel like stopping my talk. Right? No. Whenever I feel like you are not listening, I said only that. I didn't say that you are not listening to me. That means you were actually listening to me because you felt something that I said was not in resonance with what you're thinking. So that really shows that you are listening to me. So performance management is basically how we measure the performance. The productivity of nursing. It's a little tricky because nursing is not about measurable outcomes alone all the time. You can look at how many people did not develop pressure ulcer, how many people did not fall, how many people did not develop IV complications. All that you can look at. But can you really measure how someone talks to somebody? You can look at how many people received oxygen, but how can you say that when the person received oxygen, did they feel comfortable with the oxygen? Did they feel comfortable with the person? It's not easy to evaluate that. But still, we still have to have some kind of measurables to say that these are the behaviors expected. Are they showcasing the behavior all the time? At least sometimes some measurable have to be there. So that's performance. Looking at how performance can be measured, how we manage, like somebody doesn't perform well, what do you do? How do you deal with it? In our organization, we have a system where you have a progressive discipline in place. So there is a record where persons will be called and say, this is what we are expecting from you. Are you doing, why are you not being able to do that? There's a problem at home. There's a problem in life. So the first question is,
excuse me, ma'am. We are running short of time.
Yeah. So we'll just brush through all that. So basically managing the performance so that you can actually make the best out of each person. I think we're not going to do that. I think I've only done 50% of the work. But I leave the presentation. This you can read through. But what I would like to say is the right recruitment and retention strategies are important. Recruitment, people have a belief that it's always good to recruit best people. Retention is not necessary. Some people believe that everyone has to be retained. Both are not good. What I believe is some kind of turnover is necessary to keep an academic atmosphere, because when new people come, everybody starts learning. Your outcomes doesn't come down when a lot of people go. The outcome come down when everybody believes that we all know enough. So sometimes the turnover helps. Then we're not going to all this. 4 pillars of retention. One is important, it's training and development. Important to make sure that everybody educates, everybody develops, and everyone has a work-life balance. Not that people will work for 24 hours, 8 hours, double shifts, then they'll all run away. So workplace ethics and workplace, these things are important for retention. I will just say one word on this. I am sure you all understand this much better, because here itself there's a diverse crowd. Right? We are exhibiting already inclusivity. I am coming from totally different place, different culture. But I don't feel that I am unwelcomed. This is what exactly this means. Okay. When you are able to accept the diversity and everyone gets an equal chance to talk, okay, and they feel included in decision making, there is a sense of belonging that develops. And today, the biggest problem in any industry is the lack of sense of belonging. Okay. So you were able to give me the sense of belonging? Yes. I'm saying that you were able to give me. So that means I don't think we'll have to discuss too much. Diversity and inclusion. We talk big about diversity, equity and inclusion, but India is a big example of diversity, inclusivity and equity and all that, because unless these things were there, the amount of cultural diversity we have today, with the amount of peace that actually is there compared to many other states, would not have been possible. So benefits is because of this thing. These are all Western philosophies. See, the thing is that when I don't come with such kind of terminologies and don't talk big, people think that this person is not enough read. So I have to do all these fancy things basically to impress people. Otherwise, if given a chance, I would not have come with a presentation. I would have talked to you I can talk to you maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, a whole day without any of these gimmicks. So technology integration important. I'll take 5 more minutes. One is understanding what technology is available in any organization. You will have 5 or 6 different people bringing different technologies. Don't plug and play with everything. Try to integrate so that there is a conversation between technologies and people find equivalent. You be digitally literate, because you have to very well be sure about whether you are able to use these technologies, because for planning, definitely you will require a lot of technological support. Without that, it will be very difficult. Whatever we are discussing today won't be possible. And that also, when you're talking about skill development today, classroom, how much involvement can you get, how much time that you can get. But you use gamification, you use this kind of conceptual learning which is available now, LCVR, LWW, a lot of platforms have very beautiful learning methodologies which you can use. In 30 seconds, we are all Instagram reel people today, right? So 30 seconds you learn the concept because they make it so well. So these are technologies used. And the one thing also you can do is to collaborate with, the educational institution and the hospital should work together. Think that, okay, now now downtown university has how many? 500 students. I would need another 250 in the next 5 years. So I have an agreement with you. That's why the Japanese people, the Europeans are coming to you. You have an agreement. So I think that, next 5 years in my pipeline, I already have downtown university, 200 will come. And how do I plan? So they already started their workforce planning. That's the reason why they are in India. Because they know that in the next 5 years, their population is not going to take up this profession. So that's why I said it's important to understand workforce development planning, because you will know which country is actually looking for you and why are they looking for you. So we are not going to all these things. Important is in collaboration. You have to have clear goals. You make sure the partnership is mutually beneficial. Sometimes you underestimate yourself or you overestimate yourself, there is a problem. People can really use you. Foster a culture of collaboration, not just commitment. Evaluate and adjust partnerships as required. This I am not going to do much work on that. All you have to understand is, why are we talking about skill development today? we are talking about skill development because why are we talking about workforce planning first of all? Because every hospital is telling the nurses who are coming out from different colleges are not good enough for working. They are not skilled enough. There is less employability. So why now we suddenly starting to think about skill development? But when you are doing a BSc with a lot of skills being listed out, why would you have a skill gap? One of the most beautiful curriculums in healthcare is nursing. But the only problem is that we are not implementing it well enough. We are not making sure that the regulations are good enough and the regulations are being followed. The students don't find any interest in learning. This is not because the learning is not good. It's just because the life itself is a miserable time now. There is no interest in living altogether. So when you are not interested in living, then why would you study? You are studying because somebody forced you to come to nursing. And someone told, I don't know about today here, in Kerala, every girl comes to nursing because they can go to either Germany, Canada. Even if they don't like, the parents would definitely want them to go. Any beautiful place like Amrita is a very big institution. I give them an office job, 8 to 5, not happy. The parents will say, go England. They will go work as a nursing care assistant. That is promotion for them because the society doesn't understand. Okay, so the skill gap that we see, it's not because the educational curriculum is not good. It's not because people are not trained. It's just because people lack interest. The lack of interest is what we have to fight. So all these things came up because there were problems in the West, so they came up with fancy, that's what I told you, fancy terminologies. But how did India manage to have this employability live for a long time? Our education system was very different. I was allowed to choose what I wanted to do. I was trained by people, you were allowed to ask questions. Today, when you go to basics, fundamentals, 20 list of procedures, you are asked to follow every step without asking question. I always tell in my college, first year, second year, third year, you don't allow them to ask question. Fourth year, you talk about critical thinking. Where thinking is already gone, then what critical thinking will come? See, now they are able to relate. So at least at the end of the session, maybe I don't know if I did really good justice to workplace development, workforce development or planning. I did some justice to making you all engage in some conversation and making you all feel that this is important for any organization. So if you look at some interesting case studies, I'll just give you some 1-2 examples that you can look at. One is National Health Mission India. If you look at the National Health Mission, you will definitely understand how workforce planning has helped the country. They have really done a good workforce planning and skill development so that the country can be benefited. You can go read it. It's available in the web. The next thing would be, so NHM has demonstrated how strategic HR planning, continuous skill development and decentralized recruitment can build a responsive, inclusive, sustainable healthcare workforce in India. So NHM is a very good example to look at if you want to study about workforce planning and skill development. This is one site. And if you want to do exclusive nursing, go to Cleveland Clinic, USA. I give you an example. Not that everyone else doesn't, okay. But we are not good at writing our stories. So if you have to read some story, you have to go to America or some other country where people are good at writing their stories. So now it's better that we start writing our stories. We have better resilient stories to talk about. But for you to get an example of if you look at that, we will definitely get to understand how skill development paired with planning has effectively helped them in reducing the turnover of nursing and having an engaged task force. I think at the end I would say if there is a will, there is a way for anything in the world. Thank you.
A very good morning to everyone present over here. First of all, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Dr. Manasi Sengupta, Dean Faculty of Nursing, Assam Downtown University, and the organizing committee for inviting me as one of the chairperson for today's conference. I am delighted and honored to be here as a chairperson, especially for the session of our esteemed speaker, Madam Ms. Saibala Madatil. So, thank you, Madam, for your thought-provoking presentation. Now the floor is open for question and answer session. So I request participants to raise your question and clarify your doubts related to the topic.
Unless you start asking questions, they will not. Has any questions? I think I've been very clear, right? You don't have any doubts.
Is there any question? So if there is no any question, I think all of you have understood it very well. Of course, it was a wonderful presentation, ma'am. Your presentation, you have highlighted many key aspects on strategic workforce planning. Strategic workforce planning, how it can help us in anticipating future needs of workforce, identifying the skill gaps. You have clearly mentioned about that, how to develop strategy for talent acquisition even and retention, and how to optimize the workforce utilization, and developing a skilled workforce and improve patient outcome and reduce costs. So these are some of the key points we have noticed. You have covered it very well. And Madam, thank you very much for your informative session. Really, you have covered the topic with maximum information within the stipulated time. Thank you for your effort, ma'am. Yes, strategic workforce planning is very challenging in healthcare today, as we are in the profession, in the healthcare profession, while we are working in the strategic workforce planning. Of course, we should aim for right person or right people with right skill at right place at right time and with right cost. So thank you very much to all the participants for your patient listening and active participation, and I congratulate ma'am once again, and I also congratulate to the organizing committee for organizing such a important topic in this choosing the important topic in this national conference. So thank you all. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, for closing the session. Thank you, ma'am, for your exceptional contribution. I believe that your insights and expertise have made a significant impact on every one of us present here. We are greatly grateful for your exceptional contributions. So to do as a token of appreciation for our resource person, I would like to request Professor Dr. Nirmali Gogoi, Associate Dean Research, Faculty of Nursing, to kindly felicitate ma'am with our token of love. Please put your hands together for ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for doing the honor. Once again, a heartfelt thanks to Ms. Saibala Matadil for your time. Ms. Sprinkler, please escort ma'am back to her seat. I'll take a moment to inform that the poster presentation of the segment of the conference will be conducted simultaneously with the second session of our conference. The poster presentation will take place in ground floor, Block A. I request all the participants to make yourself available at the said venue. Our volunteers are there outside of this hall to escort you to the designated area. Thank you. As a token of appreciation for our Madam Chairpersons, I request Ms. Sujana Yambam, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Nursing, to kindly felicitate Madam Dr. Bandana Devi, ma'am. I request Professor Mitali Burman to please come on stage. Ma'am. Yeah, photograph. Thank you, ma'am, for doing the honor. Once again, I convey my sincere gratitude to Dr. Bandana Devi and Professor Mitali Burman for the wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am.
Just checking in. Are you all still with us and engaged? Are you? Yes? All right. Let us now move forward to the second session of the day. Allow me to introduce the chairperson of the second scientific session, Professor Dipali Das, Madam, Principal Hyatt Institute of Nursing Education, Jorabad, Assam. I request Ms. Pringala Das, please escort ma'am to the stage. Madam is currently serving as the professor cum principal at Hyatt Institute of Nursing Education. She graduated from the Regional College of Nursing in 1984 and completed her MSc in Community Health Nursing from RAK College, New Delhi in 1990. With decades of experience in public health and nursing education, she has served in various leadership roles across Assam. After retiring from Coromandel since in 2008, she became the founder principal of Arya Nursing College. Since 2016, she has been leading Hyatt Institute with a strong focus on research, community health, and professional excellence. She is also a pro-life member of Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India and Assam Professional Council of Nursing. We are truly privileged to have you, Madam, sharing this session today. Please give a round of applause for Madam. Next we have Dr. Manjusha Dekasaika, Madam, Associate Professor, Program of Psychology, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Assam Downtown University. I request Madam brings with her over 20 years of teaching experience in psychology, child rights, social work, health and nutrition, and human development. She has served as an international adjunct professor at the Lyceum of the Philippines University and worked closely with development projects including USAID initiatives. She has authored 2 books on emotional intelligence and edited several academic publications. She is known for her outstanding multidisciplinary contribution and her dedication to students' counseling and community development. We are truly privileged to have you, Madam, chairing this session today. Please give a round of applause for Madam. It is with immense pleasure that I introduce our second distinguished resource person of today's conference, Dr. Bornali Das Madam, Senior Lecturer of Psychiatric Social Work, Department of Psychiatry, CMCH, Guwahati, who will apprise us with her perspective on fostering resilience and well-being among healthcare professionals. I would like to request the chairperson to illuminate our audience with Madam credentials and accomplishments and to officially open the second session.
Thank you. A very good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Faculty of Nursing for hosting this 5th National Conference on Workforce Development, Building Resilience and Retaining Talent in Today's Healthcare. I feel very honored to chair this session and also feel very fortunate to introduce a person, a very renowned person in this field, a vibrant speaker, Dr. Bornali Das. And Dr. Bornali Das will be deliberating on fostering resilience and well-being among healthcare professionals. Now is the time to introduce Dr. Bornali Das, whom I have been knowing since the last 2 decades. And Dr. Bornali Das has over decades of experience in the field of counseling and psychotherapy and is working at Guwahati Medical College and Hospital. She specializes in therapeutic intervention for families, adolescents, and children. Working experience includes working since 2000 till date as a project manager, suicide prevention at Assam AIDS Control Society, and currently working in medical college as senior lecturer and has working experience with state project of NSCO. Achievements include published more than 50 papers in peer-reviewed journals, namely Asian Journal of Psychiatry, Indian Journal of Psychiatry. Has authored 2 books on best practice guidelines for telepsychology during disasters, COVID-19 pandemic, and guidelines on mental health and psychosocial support services during pandemic, and several chapters for books related to mental health and emotional well-being. Next achievement, 4 certifications on STATA CMC Velours, Psychological First Aid, the Johns Hopkins University, COVID-19 Operational Planning Guideline and COVID-19 Partners Platform to support country preparedness and response, WHO, EDMR, Trauma Recovery, EDMR Humanitarian Assistance Programs, INC. So now I am handing over the session to Dr. Bornali Das. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. It is good afternoon, just going to be afternoon. So I am giving it more than, in the earliest. Thank you for the Faculty of Nursing for inviting me today for this session because I feel quite privileged. And resilience is one work. Actually, I had brought out 2 papers in resilience some time back, but that was with the families of autism. So that was in 2015-16, I worked with resilience, and now, like while I was preparing, I was just going through that. Here I have to speak in a different aspect. So let me do the honors, thanking Mansi Sengupta. I would like to thank the chair, Dipali Das Vaido, as well as Manjusha Vaido. I know her from last 20 years, from NEF time onwards. It gives me immense privilege to talk to you all. So all the senior faculties, my co-speakers, the students, welcome you all, and I hope that you will have a good academic as well as gastronomic feast. So, today's topic as fostering resilience and well-being among the healthcare professional. There might have been a lot of challenges that we have overcome during some time, because there has been, like from our previous session itself, we have understood that there has been a lot of changes amongst ourselves as people, and there are also changes as humans, because much of the time we live with another parallel life, that is the smartphone. How many of you are having smartphone? Anybody out here who is having button phones here, or just a flip phone? No. So just imagine, so we live a parallel life along with this life. So there is quite a transition that is happening in our lives. So that is getting hardwired from around 2010. So that is why the resilience also is changing from time to time. So just to start with, because today's order of my presentation will be like this. So I'll not go through, just have an overview. So I would like to have a quote to begin with. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent ones that survives. It is that one is the most adaptive to change. This is an old saying by Darwin, and that's how we are maybe adapting to a new situation, and that is how we are trying to know what resilience is. So in the definition from the American Psychological Association, I have taken the definition. There are various definitions by various authors, but I have taken this definition, which is, I feel, pertinent to health sector. The process and the outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So one is that we as a human, all of us have an animal body. All of us agree? Yeah, we are Homo sapiens, so we have an animal body. This is our internal core. And one is the external, that how we deal with the environment. So these two comprising together, maybe we are now trying to address how the resilience is. So taking this, resilience is both internal as well as external, and a dynamic in nature. That means it keeps on changing. It is never static. So that is the good part of it. So to understand what is internal, as I said, the genetically that we are predisposed. We have our parents, our forefathers. From there we have brought certain genes. That is how our nose is like this, like maybe your father. My eyes are like my mother, or this part is like so and so mama, etc. So we say that these are because of the genetic. These are only the physical features, like that even the qualities also come accordingly. So lifestyle is another thing which is internal, like we try to adapt to certain lifestyles. Food intake, nutrients, ability to his connection to external world. Every human being has a different way, like that is how we are unique. We have different persons, and maybe we cannot connect to each and every individual, do we? We don't connect to each and every individual. We connect to few of them. Maybe we like their personality, maybe we like their way of talking, maybe we get certain benefits from them. Sometimes they also get certain benefits from us. So that's how the mental makeup is, and the ability to his connection to the external world, and the psychological factors and personality. These are the core internal of a human or an animal body. The external would be like we are influenced by what? Our closest unit in the ecosystem is a family. Each and every individual, we belong to a family, society, community. Then we make our own networking, social networking, because humans are again social beings. They cannot live alone. So there is a constant desire of adapting to new situation, new people, and maybe that is one of the reasons why that we are changing a lot in last 10 to 15 years. So that I will come little later. So social networking, social support. Many of us also say, research says, mostly like, empirical based research says that if there are good support, if there is family good support or friends good support, then in any kind of adversities you'll be able to bounce back. Resilience is nothing but coping with the different adversities and then bouncing back. So and that could be because that we have a certain way of networking, we have a language. So I was just saying that our girls, they are receptive. When madam came down, I was just saying that they are receptive. The only thing is that Northeast girls take little time, just to, it's like slow to warm up. So, but they are definitely receiving in their minds. They are just taking little time to maybe, outpour. Or after certain, by the evening, I'm sure that you will become very vibrant. But when it becomes, when it closes down, right? Just before that, you might become very vibrant in asking questions. So anyways, so social support is another thing which is important. And we have, each individual is from certain spiritual belief or religious belief. So these factors also influence our personality or our resilience. So to understand in a better way, we are hardwired, and our wiring is done from where? Our brain. So brain is just like a what? It is an executive functioning. So if we understand, if you see this brain, you will also relate it later. So several brain regions which has a role to resilience. One is the prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, amygdala. These are the areas where it is hardwired, and it is also like resilience play a very important role. They are interconnected and involved in emotional regulation, cognitive control, means the process of thinking, and stress response, all of which are crucial for the resilience. So if we see this, we are called as the thinking brain. Our brain is a thinking brain. That is why we have a lot of complexities also. So at the center of the brain, if you see, there is an alarm center which we call it as amygdala. In the amygdala, what happens? It keeps the emotions, like when we cry, laugh, sadness, happiness, is controlled by a almond-shaped mechanism which is called as amygdala. This works. This works, right? Oh no, the pointing doesn't work. Pointing cannot be worked, right? Okay. So if you see two almond shaped in the right side and the left side, so this activates ourselves, and that's how our emotions are controlled by this apparatus. Along with this, even the limbic system also work. It has a synergistic working of both left side, right side, and there are also connections between the two. So this, and it is said that a person who has a right frontal cortex with a superior gyri, who has a good connectivity, are better resilient people. So if the prefrontal cortex plays a very important role for humans. So has the right prefrontal cortex, right superior frontal gyri, then attenuated two hemispheres working in an anterior cortex consistency, then we have a better resilience. A person who is better resilience can be identified in that way. So then we, as I said, we have a thinking brain, and this thinking brain has certain alarm center. Suppose a person knows when to feel fright, when to run away. If you see a snake, I'm sure that nobody will be sitting here, right? We will just run away. So that is a flight. There is another situation called freeze, like we are numb. Now the kind of fatigue or numbness. And there is another segment which is recently coming out, which we call it as fawn. Fawn means we just make it an answer without even thinking. That impulsive brain nowadays does that. So it's an alarm center which is activated, and any kind of insecurities or guilt activates this alarm center, and this turns down the thinking brain. And then it becomes difficult to think and learn. Then we shut down, there are fear involved, and sadness might prevail, and the body becomes sick. So as I said, that resilience is a dynamic adaptation. So it is never static. So a person who wants to become resilient, a person who wants to change that, no, I want to be a better person from yesterday, then he can. The reason behind, because we have neuroplastic effect of our mind. So individual foster complex interaction between in the lifespan. So we say no, that over the years we learn it by experiences. So across the lifespan, we also learn from various resources, we learn from various aspects, experiences, and that teaches us how to become more resilient in future. So resilient is a stable trait, like a person at 15 may not be so resilient like a person in the 40s. A person in 60s might be of a different kind of resilience than a person who is young enough. Why is it so? Any idea why it could be? It's because our brain is constantly in an adaptation to change. We learn from the experiences, we learn from the environment, we learn from our failures, we learn from our even successes. So since we are dynamic, we are always ready to adapt to new situation. So resilience is a stable trait, tunes personality development. And these sources and skills associated with such positive adaptation is called as great resilience and can be cultivated and as well as practiced. That is how the meditation, or that is how that, when you reflect on oneself, then a person becomes a better person for tomorrow. So this is one example that I wanted to give it to you all. It has been taken from one of the ResearchGate publications, which says about the allostatic load. So this is a schematic illustration of the interconnectedness between the impact of various adversities selected the brain region. Suppose a person has poverty, loneliness. Is it visible? Yeah. So if a person is maltreated in his childhood, adverse life events, or negative influences of life during childhood, then there are peer victimization, or there is a phase of loneliness, affective loss. So there are different regions where it is affected, and now it is proved also because of the PET MRI and the fMRI scans. So if you see that cingulate cortex, this is like, where it is said that peer victimization is there, child maltreatment. If a child has experienced maltreatment, and if there is housing issues or domestic violence issues, then it affects the particular area. Like that, it affects also the prefrontal cortex, for example, if there are exposure to toxins, domestic violence, poverty, affective loss, loneliness, then you will see that prefrontal cortex is affected. The person stops thinking, and sometimes they are not able to deal with the environment. So like that, amygdala is one area which controls the emotions. That is one area which is affected. Hippocampus is our memory bank. So that is also affected. Then striatum, when we say that it is positively or negatively introduced, when we are positively or negatively, like we are not able to cope, the striatum is one area which is into force. Then thalamus, it is the relay center. Thalamus is a relay center. So these are in adverse life experiences. These are the areas which gets affected. So I was told that there is a lot of attrition, and today we have come to know from our VC out here, Professor Talukdar, that there is a lot of attrition among the healthcare professional, that people do not stay, they go, with a little bit of experience, they would like to go somewhere else, or there might be, or sometimes they don't even work. It is not that they jump into another job, but they might not work, they might only sit at home, or sometimes it becomes very difficult for them to take new challenges. So what could be the reason? So among the young adult, it has been seen that there is poor attention span leading to academic difficulty. Absenteeism nowadays is high. Personal problems, like earlier also there were personal problems, but today they are not able to articulate maybe well, or they are not able to handle it well. It could be that. Psychological problems, maybe you can give us the answer. This is just few things that I put up. Financial issues become a huge problem in today's world. Declining morals, like earlier, the family used to have morals. Family does lot of counseling before they come to colleges or they come for jobs, but that also has been coming down. Fragmentation in the family, breaking down of the joint family system. So people do not have that kind of threshold which it was earlier, and sometimes isolation. Nowadays, because of the breaking down of family system, what has happened? There is lot of isolation also. So that is leading to less of productivity. So where we see less of productivity, is it that there is job burnout? So feeling of energy depletion or exhaustion is seen. Like the persons, those who are working here, I could hear from all the senior leadership team that nowadays people, they don't enjoy it, as if it is masked, as if a kind of a zombie, that people are not able to relate to others. So feeling of depletion and exhaustion, easily fatigue, or increased distance of one's job, or feeling of negativism, cynicism, and related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy also. So there is a particular terminology which we will understand. So the occupational burnout, there is a very good paper, if you go through, in 2023 by Galenius et al. And this is called as quiet quitting phenomena. So the quiet quitting phenomena seems to be another issue from the employees, and it has been seen more from the pandemic time, adding more burden to them. Have you heard about this term, quiet quitting? Yeah? No? So this is it's in fact a lot of papers are followed after 2023, this paper. So you can check online also. So setting with the high demands and intense load, healthcare professionals shows amotivation affecting the quality of care, staff morale, and organizational performance. So what is quiet quitting? It is like, they are there in the center, they are there in the organization, but they will work bare minimum. They're just passing off the time. They're just not being able to, like when somebody gives order or somebody gives them a certain job, then they would like to, okay, I will do it. Instead of taking maybe 1 day, they might take 7 days. They might say, okay, karna hi to hai, kar lenge. It's like that. So the phenomena which employees do not leave their jobs but intentionally doing the bare minimum at this work. So this is not the phenomena that we see only in few centers. It is overall in all the developing and developed nations also is going through the same thing. That could be one of the reasons that why Japan or any other Scandinavian countries are coming to, because we have workforce. There is a scanty of people, and so they need some people from here to work out there. So the health workers in today's life, we see that there is job burnout, job dissatisfaction, disengagement, and turnover intention. There is a great resignation we see from 2021 and 22, in which after the COVID-19 they have gone through lot of they have been working double in their shift duties, and as it was said that there is a lot of work in the hospitals. So the impact is tremendous change in the healthcare sectors. Physical, mental health, as well as anxiety, depression, stress, insomnia, exhaustion, post-traumatic stress disorder has been more reported from the great resignation of 2021-22. Studies have shown, in this is specific to nursing professional, that 62% of burnout with high stress environment with long hours, high patient loads, and emotional demands and workplace stress, lack of social support, staff shortage, and toxic workplace environment is another contributing factor to these events. So what is important from the resilience point of view? One is optimism. One, if we can have a culture of optimism, that could be one. Positive attitude, as we know, this is not very different. All of us knows that we have to keep positive attitude, but how to do so? Ability to see failure as a form of helpful feedback. Many of us break down after any kind of these kind of adversities when it happens. We lose coping mechanism. But how to sail it through in times of crisis, that is something which we might have to learn now. Ability to regulate emotions. We know we have different kind of emotions. Emotions are, changing in a day itself. Morning emotions might not be in the evening. So we need to understand these emotions, and we need to understand how to regulate these emotions. That I will come to that in detail. So the neuroscience of resilient conditioning is said as that experience causes neurons to fire. Like people, those who have more experience, people who are not facing such kind of burnout, people those who are in 50s, 60s are not so much burnout as a person in 20s and 30s. So young adults are more in burnout. And the reason why it has, because I read lot of books. One of the book that I was reading is from one of the social psychologists. You may also read, that is of Jonathan Haidt. The book name is The Anxious Generation. So have you read, anybody, this book, Anxious Generation? Or you can go through the book review also. In that book, it has been very well mentioned as if something has come in the air from 2010 to 2015, that people have changed themselves immediately. What has changed? Earlier, we never had smartphones. We were not born with smartphones. So, madam and myself, we are not very techie savvy. We have to ask others to take pictures, in order to have 1 or 2 pictures. But today's generation, those who have attended adolescence in the time of 2008, 9 to 15, if you are adolescent, they are very techie savvy. So anything you give them, they live a parallel life. They might be talking with us, they might be, associating with us, but they are also good in texting and talking to another person also. So that thing is not with us. And maybe because of that, burnout is little less in us. And because people, those who are living parallel lives, those who are with the techies, they have, there are 4 hazards which have set in, which I will come again. So our experience fired in neurons, and repeated experience fire repeated neural firing. But if we are not using our brain, if we are using only the, to see reels, shorts, TikTok, videos, YouTube, all this, what happens? You are passive. Being passive is again not right for humans, because we are carbon brains. We are not silicon brains. If we are silicon, like AI is a silicon brain, it is going to become silicon brain. So the separate chip has to be attached to us if we have to have lesser amount of our fatigue and all these things, mental health issues. So the repeated experiences, repeated neural firing, neurons that fire together also wire together. So more we are talking, more we are associating, more we are relating, more we are social networking, what happens is we are also there with one another. We will do the things in person. Because in reality, you have to live in reality, no? You cannot live in this world. You can only work in this world for some time. But this cannot be our world. That is why we don't find fun in anything. We don't find enjoyment in anything. So neurons that fire together, wire together, strengthen your synaptic connection. Connection stabilizes into the neural pathways, and conditioning is neutral. Wire positives as well as negative. Your wiring will happen. It may happen positive wiring as well as negative wiring, but we have to shed away the negative wiring and also inculcate positive things into our personal lives. So that is why few strategies have been also developed for the healthcare professional after the quiet quitting. So what are those? Number 1 is promote culture of well-being. So when we are having a like where there are so many people, we need to have more well-being staff also. We should be responsible. We are giving certain people responsibility to become a well-being coach. We need to have more an understanding in this regard. Staffing and workload management. So staffing, as we know, in certain places there are too many staffs, in certain places there are less of staff. So if this management is not done in a proper way, that also might be a difficult scenario. Secondly, we sometimes do not listen to our mid-level or, in different staff, they don't have contributing, they only work. There are a lot of practical solution in their hand, and sometimes as leaders we might not give importance to those things. If we are not giving importance to those things, then also they feel that, okay, anyway, my things, I am just a subject out there. I will do my work, go home, that's all. I don't have to think much. So that also is bringing remorse to our work culture. So the professional development and training, it is a continuous process. It is not like, it is a one-day job. Like earlier, our parents used to take a degree and then get a job, and entire life they will do that without any difficulty. But today, our young generation, they like to have change. The reason is because we have something as humans which we call it as novelty-seeking behavior. Have you heard this term, novelty-seeking behavior? Yeah? So like we want more and more. Suppose we like to explore, we like to have variety, we like to have potential reward, we need to be acknowledged. And if we are not acknowledged, then what we'll do? We will resign and stay at home. And nowadays there are a lot of other mechanisms to earn money online also, like by doing reels and all that, isn't it? So the people have taken those kind of choice instead of these kind of choice. So feedback and communication, employee assistance program. Employee assistance program is something which we have something like huddle meeting. Huddle meetings means you all have like in a month, there should be a place where there could be, exchange of cultures, exchange of whatever has been felt during your hospital visit, or with some cases can be told in a jocular way, or it can be a one-act play which is done. So in that, you all eat together. And earlier, the common room practice was very good. If you remember, in the schools it is still there. The common room practice, what happens, you have to see each other's face. Now since we don't have the common room, we have cubicles, so we have isolated ourselves. Why should I talk to her? Let her come to me. So I will wait for the whole day that she will come to me, and she will not come. Like earlier, there you like it, you don't like it, you have to share your tiffin together. That brings the bonding. So at least have 3 to 4 days common room kind of a culture where, different strata people can have, mingle together, talk together, because talking is one thing which is required. Talk only for 45 minutes or half an hour, that's good enough. So, but that is how the employee assistance program. And now there's another problem is all are very sensitive. Okkoman kotha kole gat lage. So we are all sensitive. So all, including me. Okay. So though I know about everything, but yet we are very, very sensitive. So now we need to again rethink about all these things, make a conscious decision that whether we need to have a better life, or whether we need to have a quality life, or whether we want a mental health issues in our life. If you want a mental health issues in your life, then definitely antidepressants, I think, will be the next, which is like paracetamol. Nowadays, antidepressants are going like paracetamols, The reason behind it is because a lot of young adults are having like paracetamols. So be aware of that. So that is why social connection is very important. Employee assistance programs are important. Mentoring and peer support is important. Mentor-mentee kind of, buddy systems is very, very important in small groups. 1 to 5, 1 to 3, 1 to 10, so that, a person who is able to sort out problems and, tell in a higher leadership, that helps a lot. And when this kind of discussions are taken, it should not be minuscule, it should not be pinpointed as a person, but it should be taken as a issue. Because today it is XYZ happening, tomorrow it might be ABC also might be, suffering from the same problem. So that is why name should not be taken. It is the issue which needs to be addressed. So the instruments of burnout, that I am sure there are a lot of people, those who are doing burnout study, you all know what are the instrument, but there is a much more finer instrument which has come, which has been more efficacious, which is quite quitting scale. So, and why it is happening, it is more in details. So this is one of which I wanted to bring it out for you all. So in fostering resilience, I would like to give certain strategies which might be helpful. So senior leaders can reskill your managers and mid-level professionals, giving them an openness to share. Mid-level professionals to identify the reasons of burnout through which socio-cultural differences may be present, focusing on the life situation, strength and goals. Suggestion, like in the Gallup study, you can read the study, it is very interesting. It is said that one meaningful conversation per week with each of the team member for 15 to 30 minutes. So HOD or the dean or the head of the institute should take out some time, because she is a leader, he is a leader. When leader speaks, many of the issues which are there, that gets disseminated because you are role model. So as a role model, at least take out 10 to 15 and address each and every individual so that, they are better connected and they feel that feeling or cohesiveness in the work environment. So each professional need to create accountability for the individual, performance, team collaboration, and value each professional. So I always say that address the issue and not the person. So each employee must see that how the work contributes to the organization. So this is another segment which is, I feel that it is important for you all to know that since I said that you all are living, all of us are living a parallel life, and those who are young professional have crossed your adolescent in 2010 to 15, it is more so we see that there is attrition in amongst this group of people. So excessive smartphone can lead to structural and functional damage or changes in this area, which is crucial in regulating the attention, self-control and emotional responses. The amygdala, the ventral striatum, involved in the emotional processing and the reward. So when I appreciate you, today if I am appreciated also, I will say why she might have appreciated. Maybe she might ask me for something, or she'll come for something else. We have a second thought which is coming, which was not there 7 to 10 years back. So nowadays we all the time have a paranoid feeling as if, do you also feel the same? Yeah, so this is like, whomever they come as a patient also to my clinic, I ask them, do you also feel the same like I feel? That as if a kind of compassion fatigue. I'm fatigued. People are saying good things, but yet I don't believe. So that is wrong as a human. That is wrong as a human, because we see lot of reels. In a day, we see nearly 60 to 70 reels if we are free. So when we are seeing so much of reels, that means what? We are putting our dopamine more. When you are pushing your dopamine more, then these are your repercussions. So implicated in resilience and can be influenced by the smartphone. So these are the 4 foundational hazards that it is written in that book, and I find this is very true. One is social deprivation. We don't like going to somebody else, or like earlier, when people go for cafes also, there has to be some work, then only we'll go. Otherwise, we will not go just sitting there. isn't it? So there has to be only young crowds that to go, and each one is with their own phone. Nobody is talking out there. Go to a barista, go to any cafes, you will see all are with your own phones. So that is what? You are in the society but socially deprived. Social deprivation. More on online, less in a real-based kind of work environment. Number 2, sleep deprivation. Because of all the time that the emitting of light, what happens is the sleep is bad. And it is more among the young. So if sleep is bad, because again your brain is again wired differently. You are not sleeping adequately. Nowadays I see a lot of people sleep at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and morning they would not get up. There is another phase delay phenomena which is going on. So another thing is attention fragmentation. How much time can you give in a proper reading? Those who are studying MSc, those who are doing your BSc nursing, how much time? I am sure that not more than 20 minutes you will get up, or you will check your phone, or do something or the other. So this is another big hazard which is happening. So slowing down of mind, unable to sit for long, incompletion of task. Number 4 is addiction. Dependence on screen, sense of compulsion. So those who are getting addicted, once you are addicted, like while going for toilet also you have to take the smartphone, while being in the food also you have to open the mukbang and then see and eat. So all these things which I have been seeing, so it's like a sense of compulsion, withdrawal symptoms because of that. So what kind of withdrawal symptom? That also I'll come. So the C resilience is control, coherence and connectedness, which is a core thing for humans. It is now lacking. So there is lack of control, there is lack of coherence, we don't have the right kind of deep, meaningful, intense conversations. Connectedness to belong to somebody, and that is why there could be lot of break-offs and lot of relationship issues and interpersonal issues are created. These 3 things are not there, which is a core of resilience. So mental health harms, what it is doing. The predictors of the excessive smartphones, excessive use of smartphones, that brings impairment in the family function, relationship, impulsivity and low self-esteem. Lack of self-confidence also. Sensation-seeking behavior and boredom. Excessive smartphone use brings high sensation. Like I said, that novelty-seeking behavior, seeking among the young adults. Insecure attachment. You might have read about insecure attachment. So poor cognitive emotional regulation and communication problem. They do not know how to start a conversation, how to maintain a conversation, how to close a conversation. Sometimes we have lack of all this. So impaired cognitive function. So nowadays we don't remember. I remember my teachers, we ourselves are facing that. Our teachers, they don't bring slides. They will just do extempore like this. The reason behind it, the memory, like whatever those who are speakers, they will set it in mind that how they will speak and the clarity is there. Now we have to depend on this thing, PPT. Without PPT, oh my God, so difficult. So like that, yeah, and some people, they go to the blackboard, they describe there. It was interesting, and the children, I mean to say, we people also used to talk a lot during those kind of, because they would crack jokes, pun, there used to be a lot of fun during those days. So those kind of things have gone. Now we are like bombarding with lot of information, like me only giving you 35 slides. So it's an information, but whatever is suiting for you, take that. You extract whatever is being suited for you. Don't try to take everything. You will learn when you will learn. When there will be a necessity, you will anyway learn. So impaired cognitive function, this is another issue. Social media use and personality. So those who are too much in social media, what will happen? We are all like a particular kind, Nowadays, sometimes I find it very difficult. I don't know whether I have agnosia. All faces look same. If in the photographs. Why? Because all this, that facial features, beautiful skin, what is it called as filters. So we put filters, and that is why everybody looks similar. So those things are also happening. Social media use and change of personality. Byaktitwই সলনি কৰি পেলাইছে. So comorbidity with anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD, and alcohol or substance use disorder is very high. Am I on time or I'm taking too much? Time? কিমান দেৰি আছে? 12:30. So psychological consequences, there are two type of consequences which I have already covered. One is impairment of cognitive function, then inattention domain, low inhibitory control. Low inhibitory control means what? It means that suppressing the behaviors of responses leading to challenges in the self-regulation and impulse control. That means I can't control my impulse. I need to, suppose I know that I'm not supposed to have junk today. Like chowmein I should not have, or some street food I should not have, but my mind is saying, go eat, have. What's there? Today you don't eat, tomorrow you go for fast. It's like that. So that's like I don't have a control in myself. So this is manifested as distractibility, inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, and difficulty in social and intellectual outcomes of memory. So memory becomes impaired. So this is working memory is there. Working memory means just now whatever is told I remember. But if it is something little old, like yesterday I was told with certain thing, then I will forget. So reduce numerical processing. Nowadays people are bad in maths. It is even more worse because it is like we never do it. The mental maths have come down. We mostly do it because of with our smartphones or calculators. So that is why this is again another psychological harm. Changes in the social cognition. So we are not able to recognize these issues, and we are not able to deal with such kind of issues. These are psychological issues. So the impact is common cognitive emotional mechanism related to loss of control associated with impulsiveness. That is why you see a lot of impulsiveness, and also you will see a lot of people taking impulsive decisions. Impulsive decisions are like what? Deliberate self-harm. Cutting the hands, cutting the limbs, crying, inappropriate crying, small things, big issue. So all these things are kind of impulsivity, impairment in communication. You are not able to tell it in a right way. Relationship with friends and family, and many of them also cannot relate to the family. That is what it has been seen. So psychosocial consequences with low resilience is vulnerability, that individuals with low resilience may find it hard to cope with the stress induced by excessive smartphone use, which results to mental health issues. So coping mechanisms are also coming down, like avoidance coping mechanism, or there could be, instead of problem solving coping mechanism, person might also avoid or like to be into themselves in a shell. So reduced well-being, because of all this, a lack of resilience can amplify the negative impact of problematic smartphone as an overall satisfaction and well-being. So what kind of coping is important? Emotion-focused coping is important. That means we need to know about our emotions, self-aware. We should know about our emotion and also try to solve the emotions or try to solve the problems. And that is why we need to have a separate cohort of different age groups. Suppose 20 to 22 might be one cohort, 22 to 25 or 28, young adults has different cohort. So they will have similar problems, and the similar problems should be addressed. So coping, be calm, compassion, clarity, connection to the resources, competence, and with courage face the issues. So how to reboot your system? So managing your sleep cycle is number one point. Use bed only for sleeping. Many of us use our bed for all the other purpose also. Studying there, having food there, except for I think going to the washroom, everything is on the bed. So that is wrong. use the bed only for the sleeping purpose, not for procrastination, browsing or gaming. Stop watching horror movies, crime and web series. If you watch, then it should be like a Saturday watch or Sunday watch, as if you have done some good things for which that is a perks or benefits that you are doing it for yourself. It should not be that every day you are watching web series. That should be stopped. Then avoid checking social media before sleep. Okay, otherwise you'll keep on thinking about that. That is also procrastination. Then make yourself a comfortable environment. ASMR videos, how many of you see here? ASMR videos? No? Mukbangs? So otherwise you can't have food. That also happens. And there should be no gaming time. So look at this, silly things. Oh, you can't play this, huh? IT department, anybody? You can't put. So these kind of videos are also doing lot of harm to our children, because yesterday I was downloading this, and that itself, it churned my stomach. I watched only for 30 seconds, it churned my stomach, and people watch for hours together. This is again negative impact to the brain. So be watchful that whatever content is coming in your mobile, you should not watch accordingly. There might be certain things which may not be helpful at all. So how to address the issue? Education and awareness. Number 2 is content moderation. It's very important. And mindful consumption if you want to have a better resilience. For healthcare workers, empathetic, all this I am sure you all, but it is one thing that I would like to tell you, it is okay not to be okay. Sometimes if you are not okay, go through that phase. If you are going through that phase, then only you will go to the other side of your country, other side of your mind. So that is why it's okay not to be okay. So there are phases of comparison fatigue, and cognitive appraisals are also important. That means sharing with somebody else. So these are so how to modulate emotions. These are not that something you do not know, just that you can take it. I'll be leaving the slides. So deep breathing, accepting, distancing. Go for hiking, go for jungle trials, go for all this, because we need to be close to nature. Being close to nature is not, please do not take your phones there. You can take your flip phones, or you can take your phones only to get in touch with somebody else, but do not open and take the pictures. At one time, take pictures, finish it up, keep it inside your bag. Mostly enjoy the nature as it is. So mindfulness and clarity, it is important to pause and become present. Shift the perspective, choose wisely. Step back, disentangle, reflect, and if it doesn't happen, then come to a mental health professional. Do not try to handle it alone. You may go to somebody senior to you, or you can go to a mental health professional, but it would be good if you go to a mental health professional, because they can help you adequately, rightly. Okay? There are also pros and cons to it. That is why it is required. So fostering resilience would be shift the perspective, switch the channel, monitor and modify, shift the victim to I, shift the neural network. So these are the programs which are going on over the world, but the best program is always socio-culturally, whichever is important. Make your own modules. Try to make your own modules, try to solve your own problems as a cohort. And do not take that everything which has come from the West. So make your own cohort. So with this, I would like to end. It is.
Thank you so much, Madam Bornali. It was a very interesting presentation. Sorry. Actually, I thought it was. Oh, okay then.
Just that I want to summarize by saying, if our life is like in a wrestling match, then we will fall, we will crawl, we will have difficulties in our life, but with coping with such kind of adversities, going through that pain and bouncing back like, Dangal girls did, that is how the life should be, and we should take it in that stride. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon, everyone. It is my proud privilege and honor that the organizing committee has given me the opportunity to chair this important session, and Madam Bornali has presented it very well and very effective it was, because all of we know that, especially she has mentioned about how the new generation, especially our students, they are affected by the addiction of smartphone. I liked it very much because most of them, they are having the less attention nowadays. With my experience, I can feel it, because earlier stages when I was teaching, that time it was different, and now it is very difficult to make them understand. Anyway, it was very nice presentation, and regarding these healthcare professionals, all of us, whether they are doctor, nurses, paramedics, or the supporting staff, all of us, we always suffer an environment which is pressurized environment, and in that environment always our feeling is to go somehow just to pass the situation, but it should not be, and that will be possible when there will be the resilience. And I hope today's audience, mainly the students group, they will find some resolutions how to go ahead and how they can work in a situation in the balance, that work-life balance will be better, and they will find the solutions. With these few words, I like to convey my thanks to the organizing committee and everyone for your patience listening. And now the time is for interaction by the group members, so they can clear their doubts, anything they have with Madam Bornali. She is there, she is expert in this field, I feel.
Some questions. Very well digested. Not even chewed. Maybe an addition comment that would be also nice to hear from students or from senior faculties or anybody. Please pass on the microphone, volunteers.
Yes, Dr. Banali, it was an excellent session which you have given, and I think this is the need of the hour. Because we are in a different generation, and we are training the students now which are in a very different generation. So we wonder what will happen when they go out and work in the hospital, or they're going to be the future nurses. So because the thing which we have observed during the training is now they are like, very mechanical. And nursing is such a profession that we cannot be mechanical. We should have some of, the emotional feelings and those tests. So I think the empathy part of our profession is not going to be there in few years. So I think it's high time that we focus on to that. And yes, it's a practical situation. I have recently faced, like, I have with me in my custody around 15 phones. They are not allowed in the classroom or they are not allowed in the clinical, so we catch them. They were in fact using it. That means it's a working mobile. It's not that it's not surrendering in the hostel is, they are mentally prepared. They have two phones, one which does not work and one which works. One which does not work is for handing over to the warden, another one is for using. They carry and then you use. So this phone which they carried were caught, and I have almost 15 phone. It is almost 1 year. None of the student come to take that. That means they have a third phone. So it is something very difficult to control. We speak about the effect of the smartphones and everything, and now everything is online. So I think we need to bring out a solution, and nursing training is a very strict training. If this is happening in nursing training, then we can wonder what's happening in the general education. So I think it is high time that we bring to a solution to this, what can be done. And that's one aspect. So mobile, they had limitless numbers of mobiles. Different types of mobile. They have iPhone, they have Android. Android is again for submitting. There are different types of, we are finding difficult to manage with one phone. Not working, they are carrying what is working, and yes, and if the working one is caught also, they are not bothered to come and take, because they have another one. And I wonder how they get those mobiles. So I think it's a high time that we find out a solution for that, because we say no, don't bring, don't use, it doesn't have an impact. And another one was, now you speak to the student. When we were a student, if a teacher is scolding you, your tear starts coming. That means you were emotional. You are being impacted emotionally. As you say, I am in the real world. That's why when my teacher is scolding me, I'm crying. Because I'm in the real world, I'm listening to her, what she's saying, it's impacting my heart or my brain, and that's why the tear comes out. Nowadays you see the students, they're so mechanical, they are standing in front of us, you tell something, they will not respond. At least cry when I'm scolding. At least I know that you are being listened. So that itself irritates us. We are scolding them, but no reaction from that side. They will smile. They will smile. This is, I think it's a reverse way. Now they are affecting us. Now that our emotion, we are losing it. So this is, I think, we'll be. Yes.
I think at this point of time, when normalcy is in that way, what we call it as normal, when too many people follow the same thing. So if that is normal, then we have to be resilient to adapt in that kind of a culture.
Yeah, that's a situation. It's a reverse situation. Now we have to become mechanical, because we are seeing them mechanical. It's not that they're taking our emotional part. So, but I think that's going to have a lot of impact, and especially when it is a healthcare and it's a nursing. Nursing is a bit different from the doctors, because doctor comes, sees, prescribe and go. But the healing impact of the nurses, where the emotional things, the way you talk to them, the way you counsel them when there is something serious, if that part is missing, and I think it's something very bad.
Part of the history, because I work in a mental health background, in psychiatry department, many of the history I get to know from the nursing professional, because they are there in the afternoon, they will be there in the evening. They went 3-4 times MSc or just being around also. What behavior we get to know from the nursing professional. But that part is somewhere it is now missing, because they will just come during when the doctors are giving rounds and they are not there. So that is sad. That is why I said we are carbon body, and please value your body. Yes. And we should not become so silicon that within 5 years you have to put another vaccine or chip inside your head.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
I add on to what Madam said. I think I have a few solutions that I can offer you, because similarly in the entire topic that I was doing, I was trying to extract the response. It'll take time, but the thing is that we were so automatically trained that we did not have to be trained to be, emotionally sensitive. The next generation needed to be. And I think we need to have opportunities where you will, like what you said, 15 to 30 minutes. So what we did was in our hospital, we found the middle level managers. They were, people are not very okay to be open about their problems because we are, the mobile phones somehow are teaching us that we have to fake our face. Everyone has a problem, and we have been taught that don't talk your problems to the outside world. Nobody wants to listen. So the Facebook and the reels are all your fake faces, and your real face is something else. So what we did once is that I spent a lot of, because every time we had a problem with middle managers, like team leaders and the junior nurses. Between them, they couldn't work together. So we decided that we're going to call it the day out. And then we spent one whole day. We call all we had champions of different specialties. We sat together. The entire day we had a conversation. I had one meeting only to talk about our lives. So each one was forcefully given a mic. I said my story. I said, this is my story. This is how I felt. This is what I did. And then I made them to say, and it took almost 3 hours for them to start talking. And by the time it was 5th, 6th person, slowly, and the end of the day, the whole atmosphere changed. That we had 5, 6 meetings like that with the middle level, and the entire atmosphere in the hospital has changed now. And we are doing that commonly, bringing people together and not talking, not having this kind of training. That's why I said I'm not interested in PPDs. I would rather come around you, talk to you, have some fun, enjoy one day with you, and that will be the best way of learning. Because any subject which you can teach, it's all in the Google, they can find out. Now it's all about relating and feeling the belonging. The sense of belonging and the sense of feeling togetherness, that's what is required. And that, I think, through activities in the hospital and being with them in play and fun, I think that's the way out.
That's what the mention was, like a huddle meeting. I said about a huddle meeting. So huddle meeting I have seen in some organizations which are working wonders. And there is also CBCT courses, which are short-term CBCT courses from Dalai Lama. Those also actually helps a lot in, having a self-reflection. And I'm sure in Amrita it will have their own specifications of courses. Those courses also, they make them, because first and foremost they need to be self-aware, or we ourselves need to be self-aware. We need to be self-changing. All these things are very, very important in our lives. So.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Benita Devi and Madam Sai Bala, for the contribution of the words in which we are facing in this era nowadays. And of course, thank you, Madam Bornali Das, for your words. It serves as a timely reminder of the importance of care in ourselves and in our profession. So please give a round of applause for ma'am. So as a token of gratitude to Madam Bornali Das for her unparalleled contribution, I request Madam Mekapam Monica, Associate Dean, Academic Faculty of Nursing, to kindly felicitate ma'am. Everyone, please put your hands together. Thank you, ma'am, for doing the honor. Once again, I convey my sincere gratitude to Dr. Bornali Das, ma'am, for a wonderful session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ms. Pringala, please escort ma'am to her seat. And now, as a token of appreciation for Madam Chairperson, that is Madam Deepali Das and Madam Manjusha Deka Saikia, now I would like to invite on stage Ma'am Akoijam Pushpanjali Devi, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Nursing, to kindly felicitate our esteemed Chairperson. I request on stage Ma'am Deepali Das, please come forward. Please put your hands together. Thank you so much, ma'am. And now I invite forward Madam Manjusha Deka Saikia. Please come forward, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, I convey my sincere gratitude to Madam Chairpersons for the wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am. I request Ms. Nikki and Ms. Pringala Das, please escort ma'am back to their seat.
Audience, are you tired? Yes, hungry? Okay. So we are concluding this first session of our conference. We now invite all our esteemed dignitaries and delegates to kindly proceed to the dining area for lunch. So as we are running short of time, we request all the dignitaries and delegates to report back to the hall so that we can start the program exactly at 1:30. I call upon the volunteers to kindly lead the dignitaries and delegates to the places designated for lunch. Thank you all and enjoy your meal. And I also like to inform that the scientific paper presentation will be conducted simultaneously with the third session at Auditorium 2 Block C. So participants, please make yourself available at the said venue. Thank you.